So I have so many books on my Goodreads TBR. So I've had my Goodreads account since like high school, and throughout the years I have kind of tried to like declutter it a little bit, but there are so many books like literally around like almost 500 books on my TBR on Goodreads dating back to like 2012, maybe 2011. And I really want to start off 2021 with like a kind of at least a little bit more of a fresh slate. Like I don't need to delete every single book off my TBR or anything. Like this isn't gonna just be me like going like delete because I feel like that'd be super boring to watch. But I definitely want to, you know, hang out with all of you and go through my Goodreads TBR, kind of see the things that I had put on there a long time ago and see if there is anything that I'm still interested in or that I would want to keep on my TBR. I don't know, I feel like we're gonna, you know, encounter a lot of really different books, and I honestly don't really know a lot of what's on my older TBR. And I feel like it'll be really nice just to kind of go through everything and declutter and organize, because I really want my Goodreads to be helpful, and right now it's not very helpful. So I feel like we can make it a lot better. So I am screen recording on my phone right now. It's gonna show up right here. And we are going to go to Goodreads, and hopefully this will work. I don't know how this is gonna go as a video. I've tried to look up other videos of people doing this, and they kind of are doing it in the same way that I'm thinking of doing it. So hopefully this works. So we're going to go to my account and to want to read. So actually I only have a little over 300 books on my TBR, which is actually a lot better than I thought it was. For some reason I thought that there was like so many books on this TBR, but there's only a little over 300 books on here. So I feel like that's a lot more manageable than I thought it was going to be, and hopefully it'll be easier to organize. So we're going through this. I see The Goddess Test by Amy Carter. I actually own this book because I wanted to do a video that was like reading like the 4 or 5 oldest books on my Goodreads TBR, and I don't know if I really want to do that video anymore. Like the books are really short, so it shouldn't be a super difficult video, but I also don't know if I necessarily want to do it anymore. But I feel like maybe I'm going to wait until 2021 and like see if I'm still into the idea, because I do own all these books. I bought them all from like Book Outlet. I want to say either earlier this year or sometime last year. I can't really remember. There's also Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. There's The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I have never read The Great Gatsby ever in my life, which I feel like I get like the weirdest looks whenever I say that. I'm like, oh yeah, I've never like read The Great Gatsby, and people are like, what? Like but it was never required reading in any of my English classes. Like I feel like the year that it was required, I was taking AP language and my friends were taking just like regular English, and that's when they had this book required for them. So I think, you know, it just like I missed it just by like a year. But I also know that it's one of my mom and dad's favorite books, so I should probably read it. There's also Genesis by Bernard Beckett, and those are the, okay, so it's only 4 books that were like the ones that I ended up buying. Then we have East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I don't know if this is necessarily a book I want to read. I read Of Mice and Men back in freshman year of high school, and I can't really remember a lot of that book, honestly. I do remember I was really upset with the ending when I read it, but other than that, I don't know if it's necessarily a classic I want to read, so I might just end up removing it. And then we have The Trial by Franz Kafka. I don't think I'm going to read that book, honestly. I really liked The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka when I read it in like senior year of high school, and that's probably why I put it on my TBR. But I don't think I'm ever going to read that book, honestly. And then there's Hades, which is a sequel to Halo by Alexandra Adornetto. I'm never going to read that, ever. It's not happening. I read the first book, I want to say, in junior year of high school, maybe sophomore year, and I really liked it. That was when I was going through a phase of I loved books that were like supernatural YA romances with angels. Well, everybody was obsessed with like vampires and all of those kind of supernatural beings. I was really into angels. I loved angels. So that's why I got into that first book, Halo. But I mean, it's been 10 years probably, and I'm not into it anymore. Actually, I would probably be really interested in like an angel supernatural romance YA book now, but it would have to be written like in this year, or like, you know, released soon, because I don't really want to go back 10 years in time to like those kind of books. Does that make sense? And then we have Graceling by Kristen Cashore. And I actually do want to read this book really bad. I know I just said like, oh, I don't want to read a book that was published like 10 years ago. I'm a liar. So I do really want to read Graceling because I feel like it's a classic and I just need to read it. You know, I feel like there are certain books in YA that like everybody should read if they're going to like be a YA fan. And Graceling is one of those books. The next one is Unearthly by Cynthia Hand. We're going to take that one away. What's Left of Me by Kat Zhang. We're taking that one away as well. 100 Years of Solitude. I need to read that book because I read Love in the Time of Cholera back in senior year of high school. It was one of my favorite books of all time for the longest. And I definitely need to read 100 Years of Solitude. Same with Of Love and Other Demons. And then we have Ruby Red by... Kirsten Gear. I'm so sorry, I'm gonna butcher people's names. That one I'm a little like iffy about. I've heard really mixed things. I remember when I put this on my TBR, that was April 10th of 2014. I had heard so many good things about this book. I'm pretty sure it's a time traveling book, but honestly, I'm not super into it anymore, so we're gonna remove that. Same with Panic by Lauren Oliver. And now we get to Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor, which I don't know if it's gonna be a book for me. I do remember trying to read it back in 2014, and that was kind of before I'd ever gotten into like fantasy or anything like that. So I wasn't really well equipped to go into a series like that. So leave down in a comment below if you think that, knowing me and my tastes, if I'm going to like Daughter of Smoke and Bone. I kind of want to read it. And if I can, maybe I can find it on like thrift books or something, so I just get it really cheap. Just let me know. Like, think of my taste in reading, like of what you know of my taste, and tell me if I'll like it. Anna Dressed in Blood, I think we're going to take that one off. Dark Lover by J.R. Ward, I think we're going to take that one off as well. Grave Mercy, I have the entire series of, but I really want to read, so we're going to leave that there. There are a couple books here that I have no idea what they are. So Lovely, Dark and Deep by Amy McNamara. It doesn't really sound like a book that I would like, so we're going to take that off as well. There seems to be a lot of like kind of like really depressing books on my TBR, which I was kind of into at that time in my life. Like I really liked, you know, just like really depressing, sad books, but I feel like I've kind of moved on from that. Like, you know, depressing contemporary is just like not my thing. Yeah, Live Through This by Mindy Scott also doesn't really sound like a book I would really like, so I think we're gonna take that one off as well. And then there's The Paper Magician, which I think I'm gonna keep on there. I think there's a couple of them that like I want to keep on my TBR just because I feel like maybe I'll read them at some point. That might just be me wishful thinking, but we're just going to think that maybe sometime in the future I will read these books. A Madness So Discreet by Mindy McGinnis. I think we're gonna keep that one as well. Why Not Me by Mindy Kaling. We're gonna keep that one as well. A Fire and Stars by Audrey Colthurst. We are going to take that one off because I did try to read that one a couple years ago and I hated it. Same with Milk and Honey, we're taking that one off. Same with The Raven Boys. I have given up on trying to get into that series. I just can't. Like, I want to so bad. I want to like that book so bad. But I can't. I've tried multiple times. It's not working. Stranger Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I have that one and I really want to read it. It's Not Like It's a Secret by Misa Segura. I'm having a hard time with contemporaries at the moment. So it's like really easy for me to just be like, oh, I want to delete it. But I think we're going to keep it on there just in case. We're going to take off The Gallery of Unfinished Girls. We're going to take off Little and Lion. We're going to take off History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera because I have not enjoyed anything that I've read by Adam Silvera, which is really unfortunate because I really like him as a person. I just can't vibe with his books for some reason. Salt of the Sea we're taking off. I skipped Ramona Blue, I just realized that. We're keeping that. Heartless we need to remove. I own Wink Poppy Midnight, so we're gonna keep that on there. A Court of Mist and Fury we're gonna keep. Still Life with Tornado we're gonna keep. Illuminate we are taking off because I tried to read that book and I thought I was gonna have a panic attack from all of the like really overwhelming things on literally page 1. I was like, I looked at it and I immediately noped out of the book. I was like, I can't do this. Like, there's no way that my brain can process any of this. So yeah, that's not gonna happen. The Savage Song we're keeping because I think I own that one. They Both Die at the End we're removing. We're gonna skip through some of these, just some of the ones that like I know we're gonna just keep. I think we're finally gonna take off Gunslinger Girl by Lindsay Eli. I just have to be real with myself. I'm never gonna read that book. We're gonna take off Given to the Sea by Mindy McGinnis. Also, has anybody read The Queen of the Tearling? I remember back like 4 years ago, that book was really popular on BookTube. And everybody was reading it, everybody was raving about it, and now I've heard literally nothing about it. So if you've read The Queen of the Tearling, let me know because I am very interested in it still. It's like an adult fantasy, but I remember it being described as more like written as a young adult, but for adults, if that makes sense. We're gonna skip through all of these ones because it's like The Secret History, Rogue One, 1,000 Pieces of You, Emergency Contact. There's An Assassin's Guide to Love and Treason we're keeping, Where Dreams Descend. The Candle and the Flame, I think we're going to remove. I just haven't even thought of that book ever since I put it on my TBR, and I don't think I'm going to get to it. There's just so many fantasy books that I would love to get to, but realistically it's not gonna happen. And like me taking these books off of my TBR doesn't mean that I will never read them. It's like never gonna be a possibility. It just means that like it's not gonna be really like on my radar, if that makes sense. We're gonna take off These Witches Don't Burn. I think we're gonna take off When the Sky Fell on Splendor. Emily Henry, I didn't like the book that she did with Brittany Cavallero, so I feel like I'm gonna take this one off just because. So we're gonna remove that one. Echo North is another one that I feel like we just have to take off. I tried reading it and it just didn't really vibe with me on any sort of emotional level, and I really got pretty far into it and it was just really dry, so I, you know, DNF'd it. The Kingdom we're gonna take off because that's another one I tried to read and did not like. Never Contented Things by Sarah Porter we're taking off as well. The Devouring Grey is a book I really wanted to like. I actually own it. I don't know where it is, but I do own it and I wanted to like it. I couldn't really vibe with it. It reminded me a lot of The Raven Boys, and that's maybe why I really wanted to like it. But also probably why it didn't vibe with me as well. So I think we're gonna take that one off just to be realistic. Nocturna I own. Roar I actually have as an audiobook, so I might get to it at some point. Romanoff is one that I'm not sure if I'm going to get to. I have like a mixed feelings relationship with a lot of like Romanoff inspired content. Sometimes I really love it, other times I really hate it, so I don't know. That's one that I really want to read, but I don't know if I'm gonna like it. Maybe I can do that for a video though one time, like reading a couple of books that are inspired by the Romanoffs. That might be interesting. Circle of Shadows by Evelyn Skye. I don't know. That's one I don't own, but I kind of want to read because I really liked Evelyn Skye's other duology, The Crown's Game. And I don't know, I don't know. If you've read this book, Circle of Shadows, let me know down below in the comments if you liked it or not. We're gonna take off Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins because I don't want to read it, and because I don't want to read the first book either. We're gonna take off The Dead Queens Club. We're going to take off Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me because I have found this past year or so that I physically cannot read graphic novels. I can't. I've tried multiple times multiple different kinds of graphic novels. I've tried comics, I've tried graphic novels. For some reason, my brain cannot keep focus when there are a lot of pictures and very, very little words, if that makes sense. Like, I would much rather have it be a novel with pictures rather than a picture, like, rather than like a picture heavy book with very little amount of text, if that makes sense. I don't know, like, pictures don't do it for me for some reason. Like, I would much rather picture things in my brain than see them in front of me. That's probably why I don't really like movies all the time. Like, movies are hard for me to watch. TV shows are pretty hard for me to watch. I have a weird, like, visual thing. Like, I would much rather visualize things myself than have them visualized for me. Find Me Their Bones, Small Town Hearts, The Great and Noble End, If It Makes You Happy, Patron Saints of Nothing, I Want to Be Where You Are. I think I'm going to get rid of I Hope You Get This Message and The Babysitter's Coven. Those are not books that interest me anymore. Same with Orpheus Girl. We're going to keep A Match Made in Mehendi and Dear Haiti, Love Elaine. Same with Full Disclosure. We're going to take off 10 Blind Dates though. I just don't think that I'm going to, I don't know, like, a lot of these now that I'm going through are contemporary, and like I said earlier, I'm not in a contemporary mood. I'm in a really big fantasy mood right now, so I want to keep some of these contemporaries, but there's also, I really want to be kind of, you know, I kind of also want to be a little bit critical and like decisive of like, okay, we're not going to read this contemporary, it's just not going to happen. I think we're going to take off Under a Dancing Star by Laura Wood. I don't know why that was on there. I've never seen that book before in my life. We're going to take off The Shortest Distance Between Love and Hate because I don't know what that book is about. I have read another book by Sandy Hall, and that was a couple years ago. I do remember enjoying it. However, I didn't enjoy it enough to be super interested in her other work, so... And since I accidentally clicked on it, we have to go back and, you know, get all of this. So we're going to take off that Sandy Hall book. No Judgments by Meg Cabot. I have kind of mixed feelings on. I've heard some mixed reviews for the book, but I do love Meg Cabot, so I think we're going to keep it on there. We're taking off Woven in Moonlight though. I've heard really, really bad things about Woven in Moonlight, so we are definitely taking that one off. Invincible Summer we're going to take off as well. We're going to take off The Inseparables. We're going to take off Dark Matter. We're going to take off We Went to the Woods. I'm going to keep The Enlightenment of Bees, mainly because I had been listening to that audiobook and really enjoying it, so I feel like I will end up finishing it at some point. It just, we'll just have to see how that goes. We're going to take off The Atlas of Red and Blues. Oh, I Hope You Get This Message like twice on here for some reason. We're going to take off The Art of Living and Dying. I don't know what that is. We're going to take off The Four Agreements. I don't know what that is either. The Latte Factor, we're going to take that one off. Oh, I think that was for a video I wanted to do where I read non-booktubers' favorite books, like non-booktuber YouTubers. I did end up doing that video, what was it, last year? And it was a fail. I hated those books so much, so I was just like, you know what, I don't think we're going to do this again, you know. There's No Big Deal, Next Year for Sure, No One Here Is Lonely, Things We Lost in the Fire. There's Middlemarch by George Eliot, The Paper Heart Society, which I own. We're going to take off The Year of Magical Thinking. We're also going to take off Exit West. I do want to read The Picture of Dorian Gray though at some point. That will happen. We're going to take off Wild and Crooked. We're going to take off To Drink Coffee with a Ghost. I'm not in my poetry mood at the moment, so we're just going to take those off. We're going to take off The Story of Lizzie and Darcy. We're going to take off Park Avenue Summer. Also, The Whisper Man is going away. Cozy is going away. I think we'll keep The Light from Other Stars. I think we're going to take away House of Salt and Sorrows because I do own that book and I was like halfway through it, but I have no interest in finishing it. We're gonna take off Make Me a City. I think we'll keep, no, we're gonna take this one off too, Dickens at Christmas. We're gonna take off Girls on the Verge because I did unhaul that book. So I feel like we don't really need it. Ah! Oh my gosh. I think we're gonna try to reverse this because I keep having to scroll all the way back down, which is kind of annoying. So we're just gonna go through like my latest ones that I've put on my TBR. There's a memory called Empire, Ace of Spades. I don't know why I have a memory called Empire on there twice. That's so random. The Midnight Library, Curvy Girls Can't Date Cowboys, Curvy Girls Can't Date Billionaires. I'm really excited to read those books. Plain Bad Heroines, Plain Bad Heroines, Down Comes the Night, Truly Devious, Vita Nostra, Queen of Coin and Whispers, Beyond the Ruby Veil, The Sisters of Winter Wood, Magic Lessons, The Rules of Magic, Illusionary, The Book of V. Like literally, these are all books that I've recently put on my TBR. I really want to read them. Lost in the Neverwoods, I'm so excited for. Oh my gosh, I cannot even express how excited I am for that book. Curse of the Night Witch, which I think I'm actually going to take that one off. I'm not really interested in that one. The Ghost We Keep, another one I'm so excited about. A Breath Too Late, The Inheritance Games, Among the Beasts and Briars, Fable, Darius the Great Deserves Better, Darius the Great Is Not Okay, Winter Song, Uprooted, Bone Crier's Dawn, which I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. We're gonna take off Tell Me How It Ends. I don't know what that is. Kingdom of the Wicked, When They Call You a Terrorist. We're gonna take off this one as well. Empress Dowager 6E. I'm really excited for These Feathered Flames and A Dark and Hollow Star. I really want to read From Blood and Ash. Conquest, I think we're gonna take that one off. I do have that as an audiobook. I do have that as an ebook, so maybe I will end up reading it at some point, but I just want to, you know, we're trying to weed out my TBR list. Black Girls Must Die Exhausted is another one that I have as an ebook, so you know, we'll see. Kingdom of Ash, Empire Storms, Jade City, This Is How You Lose the Time War, The Inheritance Trilogy, The Killing Moon, You're Not Special, Queenie, The City of Brass, Watch Over Me. I think I'm gonna take off because I didn't really like it when I tried to read it. The Black Flamingo, Ophelia After All, Catherine House, The Dark Tide. We're taking off Cobble Hill because I hated that book. The Flat Share, I don't know if I really want to keep that one on. And then In 5 Years I've heard is not good, so we're gonna take that one off. Dreamland, I actually don't know what that is or what that's about. We're gonna check it out. Oh, okay, no, this sounds really good. Okay, we're good with that. I can't wait to see how many books we've taken off. Like, I think that we started off with like 300 and something, so we should be pretty close now. Writers and Lovers, The Sundown Motel, Anxious People, Yes, 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 Yes. We're gonna take off The Year Shakespeare Ruined My Life. I'm not interested in that book anymore. I think we're gonna take off The Village Shop for Lonely Hearts as well. A Declaration of the Right of Magicians. Take that one off as well. I've actually already read Aquamarine. I don't know why it's on my TBR. Yes, all of these super excited about. We're gonna take off Enchanted. And let's see, we're gonna keep on going down. Yeah, there's a couple of Sapphic books that I added onto here, so we'll keep those. Clap When You Land, I really need to read that book. The Court of Miracles, I need to read that book. I don't know what these ones are, but I think that some of these are Book of the Month books that I was interested in and just wanted to add on to my TBR just so I could remember them, so we'll keep those. We're gonna take off this because I actually have the Inheritance Trilogy on my TBR. I don't feel like I need each separate book on there. I feel like we're getting really, really close to where we were before. Defy the Worlds, which is the sequel to Defy the Stars, which I really, really want. A Winter's Promise, Ignite the Stars. I think we're going to take off these Robin Hobb books. I'm not really super interested in them at the moment. Same with Monstrous Beauty, we're going to take off as well. And same with Yes, No, Maybe So. We're going to keep the Ivan Turgenev books on there because I loved his book that I read for my Russian history class. I can't remember what it's called. I will put it on the screen if I can remember it, but I really loved that book that I read in my Russian history class. It was so good, and oh my gosh, it's one book that I totally want to reread and just haven't gotten to yet, so I really want to read his other books as well. Felix Ever After I've already read. I don't know why it's on my TBR. The Rise of Skywalker, Canto Bight, Resistance Reborn, Black Spire, Crash of Fate, Rebel Rising. I really want to read Rebel Rising so bad. Most Wanted, Master and Apprentice, Daughters of Nuri, Queen of the Conquered. I think we're gonna take that one off. I'm not super interested in that book. The Weight of Stars, I really want to read. But I also have another one of Kay Ingram's books, so I don't know if I want to read that one first or if I want to read The Weight of Stars first. We're gonna take off the Good Luck Girls. We'll keep War Girls because that cover's badass. Ink in the Blood we'll keep, Bend in the Stars we'll keep, Force Collector, Fireborn, Last Shot. We'll take off Rogue Princess because I did read some of that book, wasn't super into it. I really desperately need to read A Long Fatal Love Chase. I actually own that book. I don't know where it is right now, but I'm pretty sure it's about vampires. So I think that might be a book I need to read in the future when I do a video talking about vampire books. The Starless Sea, The Library of the Unwritten, The Priory of the Orange Tree, The Betrothed. I'm gonna take off the Falling in Love montage. Not super into it. I'll Be the One we'll keep, Wayward Witch, Cinderella is Dead, Belle Revolt, Incendiary, Star Daughter, Revenge of the Stars, oh, Scavenge the Stars. Scavenge the Stars. I was totally in like a Star Wars mindset. The Shadows Between Us. We're gonna take off Bonds of Brass. Not super interested in that book. I don't know what the Gossamer Mage is, but it looks really cool, so we'll keep that on there as well. Oh, I wanted to read Sisters of Sword and Song because it's written by Rebecca Ross and I really love The Queen's Rising, and I'm looking this way because it's right here. So definitely want to read that one. The Enchanted Sonata, Winter Spell. I think those are both Nutcracker retellings, which I technically should probably be reading this month because it's December, it's Christmas. That's like the Nutcracker, so I probably should read those. All the Stars and Teeth, Clean. Oh, I remember why I have these books on my TBR. It's because I really wanted to do a secret TBR where I read Taylor Swift books. Like, okay, that doesn't make sense. I wanted to read books with lyrics from Taylor Swift songs as their titles. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm ever gonna do that video. I might as well just keep them just in case, but you know, maybe in the future you'll see this video happen. We're just gonna keep going down. I think that we actually got all the way through it. Yeah, we did. Oh my gosh. Okay, so those are all of the books on my TBR at the moment, and I'm so excited to see how many books that we were able to kind of like weed off of my TBR list. So we're going to go check on the books that I want to read. So we got it all the way down to 236 books. That's really good. And I feel like that's so much more manageable than like 320 something that we had. And I really don't want to, you know, make it go too out of control. Maybe I will go through it again off camera just to kind of like see if there's anything else. Okay, so I feel really good about what we were able to accomplish. I feel like, you know, we really did a good job at weeding out my TBR on Goodreads, and I feel like it's a lot more manageable now. So I am so excited that we got to go on this journey together of going through some of the books that I added on to my TBR years and years ago. And I think it's really interesting kind of going through my Goodreads TBR because I've gotten to see how my tastes have changed since I was in high school and the books that I wanted to read in high school. I think that's really interesting to go through. And I feel like, you know, yeah, like some things have stayed the same. Other things have totally changed. There are different genres, different tropes, different authors that I'm way more interested in now. And I just love that I can kind of go through my Goodreads TBR, and even my Goodreads read list is also very interesting. and kind of see just all the different kinds of books that I've read over the years. So I really hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also, go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads. And I also have been posting a little bit on TikTok recently, so that will all be linked down below. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!
Ooh, I thought it'd be me and you.